This is a 2016 13-inch Touch Bar MacBook Pro with Retina display, and in addition to being a mouthful, it is arguably one of the worst MacBooks ever made. I've been using this 2016 MacBook Pro for the past month or so as my daily driver. It's actually the cheapest Touch Bar MacBook Pro that I could find on eBay at the time. It came in at just over $900. The model that I bought is the higher tier for 2016. It has the upgraded 512GB SSD, and when it was new in 2016, it cost a whopping $2,000. The reason I mention the price is I've been debating the value of this machine, both from the perspective of its original $2,000 price and from the $900 I paid for it. Either way, this machine has a ton of problems. I'll go through the list in the order that these problems were uncovered. Naturally, the port selection is first. 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports is not a bad thing, but the lack of just your standard HDMI, SD card reader, and USB-A ports are tough to get over for anyone, even in 2019. Also, Apple never really made this clear, but the right side Thunderbolt 3 ports aren't running at full PCIe speeds, so if you use an eGPU, you probably want to use the left side. Something else that's worth noting is that while the 15-inch MacBook Pro routes the Thunderbolt IC directly through the CPU, the 13-inch routes it through the platform controller hub, which adds an additional bottleneck to the system. Next, we move on to the outcry at the soldered RAM and SSD that this model introduced. This one's pretty obvious on its face. My model has 8GB of RAM, and it will always have 8GB of RAM, even when that becomes unusable. Next up, we go to the keyboard. This problem developed over a little while, but at first a lot of people complained about the lack of key travel and the loudness of the keyboard. I'm actually one of the few people who enjoy typing on the Butterfly keyboard, even this 2016 one, though it was definitely improved in 2018. The complaints about the key feel, however, were soon usurped by the larger Butterfly keyboard issue that developed in 2018. I don't need to explain this whole issue as it's been done many times, but what I will say is that my model doesn't have any issues yet. You can see it has the 2016 option and control keys, so the keyboard is original. If you have a 2016 MacBook Pro, Apple will replace the keyboard with a 2017 one because they like to pretend that that's going to solve the problem. It doesn't. And after 2.5 years, I don't feel any stickiness in the keys, so that's a good sign. However, the issue can develop at any time. It's a major blow to the functionality and reliability of these machines. Next up, we get to an issue that is still developing, Flexgate. So to give you a lightning synopsis of what Flexgate is, because these new MacBook Pros have this admittedly very attractive all-metal hinge, they did away with the plastic clutch cover. That means the display data cable is actually wrapped around the hinge, and it is pulled tight when you open the display. Because it's not a very long cable, and it's quite fragile, and it's a cable instead of a thicker wire like they used to use in MacBook Pros, over time with repeated opening and closing of the lid, the cable will fray and deteriorate. This will cause a stage light effect, as you've probably seen in the bottom of the display, and eventually the whole display cuts out. But because the cable is fused to the display, because of course it is, you have to replace the entire display instead of just the cable, which means you have to pay Apple's absurd amount of money to do this. Now, as of right now, there's no replacement program, but I suspect within the coming months there will be a replacement program, so you'll be able to get your display replaced for free, and you'll probably be able to get reimbursed if you've had to pay to do it, but that doesn't exist as of the making of this video. Now, it's also worth mentioning that this is a 2.5-year-old machine with the original display, and I'm not having the issues. So really all I can tell you is your luck may vary. Mine's fine right now, but who knows, next Thursday it could be broken. This stuff happens at any time. At this point, it's starting to get ridiculous. The thing has limited ports, a failing keyboard, no upgradability, and a failure-prone display. And that's just the big name issues. There are others. The display delamination that has plagued Retina MacBooks since 2012 Yes, 2012 is still going on. How have they not fixed that after 7 years? Tim, what are you doing? Also, this new design looks really, really nice. However, it also nicks and scratches way more easily than the older Retinas. My model has a few spots of bother, but the space gray units show scratches much more easily, particularly along the edges. And then there's the value. This was $2,000 in 2016, and it has 8 gigabytes of RAM and a dual-core i5 with integrated graphics. That's just embarrassing. Fortunately, the 2018 models do have quad-core processors, but they still only have 8 gigs of RAM as standard and integrated graphics, so I'm not letting them off the hook. Even at the $900 I paid for mine, it's not great. You can very easily get a 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro with dedicated graphics, 16 gigs of RAM, and a quad-core i7 for $900, or even as low as $750, that would crush this MacBook Pro in terms of performance. All of this puts me in a tough spot because despite everything that I just mentioned, I still find myself using this computer every day. It is overpriced, underpowered, and unreliable. And it seems that right now Apple's pretty much cornering the market in all 3 of those things. However, well, I'm able to look past a lot of those issues in some of Apple's more recent or more good products. This is just too much even for me. So that begs the question, why am I still using it? This MacBook Pro is a waste of potential. The design and form factor of this device are so good. It's a gorgeous device. It's sized absolutely perfectly for portability and weight. The battery life is outstanding. I don't even mind having Thunderbolt 3 only. I've gotten used to that at this point. The display is a great size. The speakers produce incredible sound. If you were to take the 2018 models with this design and have those quad-core processors but bump the RAM to 16 gigabytes, make the solid-state drives upgradable, make the RAM upgradable, and add dedicated graphics, I would buy one at full price in a heartbeat. It would be, even if it's still overpriced, even if you're still paying the Apple tax, I would still buy one because that would be a really promising machine. Basically, this MacBook Pro is a waste of a good design. This design is fantastic and it has a lot of potential, but it's just such a letdown. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll leave you today with a recording of the unboxing of this computer because it was definitely a bit unusual. Alright, cheapest Touch Bar MacBook Pro on eBay. Let's crack it open. Good, lots of packing material, I like it. Look at that, original box. I really like when you get the original box with it because I really like Apple boxes. Also, you know, it kind of makes you feel like you're unboxing something new, which is nice. There she is. Okie dokie, now let's check out what we got in the box. Okay, we got some tape on the side, that's fine. Opening it up. Look at that! This guy's a professional! They even kept the pull tab and like the plastic thing that comes on the box. Now what you may have noticed is it's silver. What the heck is going on there? I mean, anyone knows that if you're gonna buy one of these things, you gotta get it in space gray. That's just rule number 1. But this one was in silver. So, that actually you probably already knew because it's on the box. But you know what? It's silver, so we'll see. They even put the little paper, kind of, back on the USB-C. This is dedication right here. This is a man with a plan. Alright. This makes it feel really authentic when you get to... I mean, look at that. That's just so authentic. Getting to take it out of the plastic like that. No way! Even put the paper back in the screen. This guy is really on top of his game. Holy moly. And it's turning on. Look at that. This is just like unboxing a brand new laptop. That's so cool. Holy moly. So you can see we've got the original Alt keys on it, which means that this is original. It hasn't been replaced for any reason. I mean, everything looks really good. It's clean, and honestly, I'm really glad I wasn't going to film this unboxing because, you know, they're all kind of the same. But seeing, like, the paper insert on the display and the plastic around everything, A for effort. That's, like, so above what I was expecting to see on this. All right, back to the normal video now.